Welcome to the Lorcana Cross Continental Challenge. I am your host, Luke Wonderland, and I'm here with Teddy from the Glimmer Gang. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. This is unprecedented times for Lorcana competition. I'm so excited. We got a great matchup today. Dale and Spessy, two of the biggest names in Lorcana, and yeah, just gonna be awesome to see this whole thing go down and see what we can get out of this for. Just
Oh,
set
yeah.
six. It's a new meta.
Yeah, let's just jump right in and look at each of their lists
You're
here.
chilling.
And we just got some spice everywhere, kind of, or at least on Spessy's side. Dale's is a little more traditional.
Hmm.
I think three new cards in his list, two Plutos and a Go Go. Uh, really hard to fit new cards into this list, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think Green Steel, we've seen how dominant it can be. And you look for these new spots in all these decks, and it's just like as we get more cards into the game, it's going to be so hard to find that spot. What truly makes this deck better and what like is on its way out. And we didn't see a lot go out. I can't like think of a card that wasn't in this list that is still here. And the interesting thing about this is lots of three one-ofs in this list with one Go-Go, one Doc, and one Anna. Obviously, looking to save those for when you truly need them. With how much damage that Green Steel can spread, Go-Go is going to be a great closer when you just need that final few lore. But yeah, definitely will be interested to see. That's what I'm most curious about is how is he going to manage those one-ofs in this deck?
Yep. They work really well. If you'll also notice, his one ofs all have less than two power because they're basically silver bullets that your muse can take over the game with in the right circumstances. Being able to bounce Go Go and regain lore after they're taking and challenging your stuff down is like pretty good to finish the game off. And then you have the Anna bounce back to take out a Tamatoa if you need to, and then obviously buying back Doc to just refill your hand over and over again. So it's kind of nice to have the ability to have these one ofs. Now, granted, it's unfortunate that Doc and Anna are both uninkable, and but at least you can ink the Go Go in the matchups that it's
Hmm.
really not going to be there. But let's look at Spessie's list as it is a little bit more outside the box. You were saying earlier that this is a updated version
Hmm.
of what they played in Vegas.
Yes, I was talking with Spessy earlier, and he mentioned that Spessy is subbing for Moyen in this. We probably want
Yep.
to add there. But this list was a list that they kind of put together, both of them, and have refined it for this. Obviously, we see a few new cards in Calhoun and Diablo, White Rose. Actually, a lot more new cards now I look at it. But with Diablo, Calhoun, White Rose, Genie, and Gantu all making their way into this list, it is definitely going to be interesting to see like how these new cards play. Merlin Rabbit has left, which to me personally, I still think that is going to be a good card. But obviously, Genie in different matchups can provide that factor of being able to stay away from things with evasive and all that.
Oh yeah, it's an interesting thing that before all these decks that were just jamming four rabbits, now it's like, well, which do I play? Do I play the double
Hmm.
draw or do I play the aggressive threat cantrip? And so in a list like this that you might not want to be bouncing back rabbit, like I would rather bounce back a dock and replay a dock
Hmm.
once I get going
Yeah.
because that's absurd. But like you don't really ever want to bounce your genie back.
Hmm.
And then this allows you to use your bounces on the rose, the dock, the goat, and things like that, or maybe
And the
buying
one
back
of
your
Pete,
Gantu. Yep,
the one
yep,
of
the
Pete
one of
there
Pete.
definitely. And I think obviously that Pete is going to be pivotal in this matchup for Spessy
Oh yeah,
to be able to stop Green Steel's actions turns after turn and being able to kind of play the board to where Spessy's able to kind of take control before Green Steel can really do what Green Steel does best and discard your hand and leave him with limited resources.
yeah. I'm assuming this is a matchup that he is gonna wish these crabs were Pete's. It's
Hmm.
I don't think it's gonna be doing too much here, but it really has the ability to. Like occasionally, it's gonna come down and let you take care of an Ursula 3 that they didn't think was gonna like get banished from a Diablo,
Yeah.
but it's still there to like deal with that. With the extra resist from Calhoun and then Genie and Gantu, there's some pretty big lore gain
Hmm.
in this
Yeah.
that it is possible that given an aggressive start, especially because like you go one drop cannons, and if they don't have cove, like you can't shift your Diablo into
Yeah.
that. So you have to like wait till
Yeah.
the next turn and go Pete, shift
Hmm.
Diablo. You're not applying any pressure or like counter pressure to prevent him, Specie, from questing. While I will think, like on paper, I assume Green Steel is favored here, but there is a world that Specie could just run away with it
Hmm.
on the game that he's on the play, if not games that he's on the play.
Yeah, and I think if he wins the die roll, it's his best of 2 out of 3. If he goes first twice, I think he has a shot. I think he has the ability to be able to just run away with it really quick if he can get the start that he wants.
Oh yeah. Do. All right.
Wait,
We're
waiting on all
almost
players.
yeah, we're almost ready to go. I can't wait to get it going. They're doing the game names right now.
Hmm.
Oh,
I Oh, is it ready? Is it ready? The
nice.
anticipation. I am extremely excited just for this whole thing as a whole. This whole thing as a whole, that's English and a half. For this whole thing and just being able to see what all of these players bring. Obviously, Dale is known for Green Steel and being able to play that. And well, here we go. We're live. We have
Yep.
the ability to see both players,
They're
Specie on the left, Dale on the right.
yeah, they're doing their mulligans right now, I do believe. Ooh, I do like that playmat. Is that I'm assuming that's from this set since it's a card from this set.
I believe so. Is it from this set? Or is that Donald from a past set?
Is
Is
it
it from this
Donald
set?
from the? You know what? I think it might have been last sets.
I definitely think it may be from past set. Like, I don't remember what set it was from, though.
Okay, I think it's set 5.
Okay.
It when it challenges a character, I don't. I think it has to banish the character, but it might only have to challenge. But it gives your other
Mm,
characters +1 lore. Maybe just your
okay.
pirates.
Okay. Yeah. Now that I think about it, definitely. It definitely. What were the playmats from this set? Was it. Oh, I can't remember what the playmats were. I'm gonna go to the Google machine.
Mulligans. See, we can. So you're gonna see
Well,
these blue bars on the screen, and you might not always see those from other people you've watched play. This is so we can see their hands, but their hands are not shared to their opponents.
mhm.
I can't tell if Specie's camera is frozen or
Oh,
he just never moves his hand.
Well, we just got internal word that it looks like his PC may have crashed, which is.
That does happen sometimes.
Um,
Luckily, if it was to crash mid game, since it's a webcam paper game, it doesn't actually scuff the game.
that's actually so true. Just turn your PC back on.
Just some of the positives about paper play.
Exactly. Paper play. I've always loved paper play. Being someone who, ooh, um, paper play adds that I think effect to the game that when you're playing in other ways, I think it kind of just it gives you the reps that you need for in-person tournaments and all that stuff, which
Oh yeah,
I thoroughly enjoy.
there's positives and negatives to it.
Hmm.
You don't miss your triggers on digital play.
Yeah, I have run into many times in my days with Pokemon and then my days with Lorcana of people being so used to digital play that they miss their triggers and paper play and got to either work back or just kind of go through it. Always happens. Looks like they are resetting, so hopefully we will be getting there shortly. Get this match underway.
Oh, it wouldn't be a Lorcana match if there wasn't a little bit of technical difficulty occasionally.
Always technical difficulties. Always technical difficulties. definitely
So,
a little interesting. Obviously, the cross-continental part of it makes it uh,
oh yeah.
connection definitely can be spotty at times, but we work through it. We persevere.
So Dale has four top 32s, one of which is a top 8 in Chicago. Top 32 in Fort Worth, Toronto, and Vegas. Pretty solid. Speci, he is mostly an EU caster, so he hasn't really had a chance to like show how good he really is.
Hmm.
You can watch him play on his stream, and you can tell how good he is based on that. So it's like he's got skill. Um, he was chosen as a stand-in for Moyen, who's in another event today, so he could not make it. But he is Speci's playing Moyen's deck, and it also you were saying earlier that it's a deck that they designed together actually, and did
Yeah,
both play in Vegas.
they have tested that before together. Even Seattle, they played it together, uh, or some version of it. They may have played something different, but they definitely tested it up going up to Seattle. Um, so
I
that
think
they
Moyen
know they
might
both
have
know the deck.
played Moyen might have played Sapphire Steel in
Trying
Seattle.
to go on Melee and find uh past. Here we go. Let's see if I can find DLC Seattle's standings. I want to see where our good friend Speci finished because he was there, if I'm not mistaken. You played in Seattle. Here we go.
He was there.
Uh,
I'm pretty sure he made day two.
our
He either
very
made
own.
day two or he lost his win in it, if I
He
know that's right.
finished 4-2-3 with 37 points. So yeah, I believe
Mm,
right on right on the
lost the win
cusp
in.
there. Yeah. I mean, our very own
The winning
Wonderland
in
won
Amber
Seattle.
Matrix.
Our Seattle winners
Better
right
lucky.
here.
Better lucky than good.
Hey, a win is
Just
a
gotta
win.
gotta
But
have
no,
good friends and teammates who are there to give you a deck list at the last second when everything you've tried doesn't work, and you're just like, fine, I'll play old reliable. I mean,
old
I've had a lot
reliable.
of reps with Green
Mm-hmm.
Steel, with Ember Steel, and a lot with Amber Steel as well. Like, I tend to be a Steel main, so it wasn't like that outrageous. It wasn't like I picked
Yeah.
up a brand new deck and just crushed with it. Like, it Diablo is very powerful, and I think some of the reasons why it's maybe taken so long for it to overall see domination and people wanting it banned is that it is difficult to play.
Mm-hmm.
In a
Yeah.
manner of speaking, like part of it is like how can it be difficult to play, but
I mean,
knowing
if
how you need to mulligan and whatnot is really difficult. Like I had to full mull most of the time for the combo of just baby small Diablo and big Diablo.
yeah, I mean, in any game you're playing with Diablo, especially in Green Steel, if you're able to do that and have an action in your hand and get that out early, it's gonna be very hard for your opponent to win, and especially if you find a cove, uh, that's what Green
Oh
Steel
yeah.
wants. They want their baby, they want their big Diablo, they want an action, and they want their cove to be able to move into on turn two, and they're set. Now, if you had picked up Hamza's 72 card red blue deck in one, I like that would have like I could not. I don't know how he does it. I legitimately don't know how he does it.
All right. Well, here we go. We might be ready. We might be ready. It might be Lorcana time now. Is it? Is it? It might be. It might be.
Is it time to play some eye up? We're in. We're in.
It's 15 minutes into the future here. We
Yeah.
are. So, like, I'm getting the chat from 15 minutes ago, and they're like, no sound. I'm like, luckily, we did catch
L-
that.
l- luckily, we were able
Ooh,
to what's the word?
Spessy was just showing off his Big Ben Cogsworth card because the French version of Cogsworth is Big Ben, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's honestly so cool. Like some of the translations of these cards in different languages are so sick.
I think they're rolling to see. We got a 5,
So he gets a 5. Dale maybe he may be rolling for Dale too.
a 6. So Dale wins, maybe?
Maybe or was who knows? Does Dale have dice? Hopefully Dale has dice. Doing the 1, 2, 3. Always a great etiquette in online play. I guess we'll find out who's going first whenever someone puts down a card.
Hype, hype, hype. I told him to start, I'll do it again. Here we go. Got good old Joe Curley versus Dale Bellido. And Joe Curley, also known as Spessy.
Dale Bellido, also known as Dale.
Right? Who
Oh no.
needs a fancy username? Uh-oh.
And you can just use.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Please don't say we're frozen again.
It's like his hand's still not moving. Oh no.
Overseas
Spessy
technical difficulties.
Spessy's having some issues. Oh. Apparently, I'm all quiet. So let's move my microphone to be extra loud.
Be doing some ASMR for people in people in the past. You're not gonna hear us ASMR.
Right, right.
ASMR Lorcana streams. Who's up? Who's for it? Oh, is he
Oh,
back? I
I
saw
saw his
movement.
hand move.
Spicy moves.
Oh, that's too good. That's too
Someone
good.
clip that, please. Someone clip that.
Oh man.
He's doing it again.
Oh man.
You can see him sitting here. Oh no, their screens are going black for each other. Oh.
Well, this is one of the issues with playing cross continental.
Yeah, as unfortunate as it is.
Hmm. Let's see if we're going to give it a couple more tries here, and then we might migrate to just doing a regular Discord game. Well, Spessy's hand is moving nice and fine right now.
I wonder if it's their connection for them maybe a little more laggy because of the cross continental. piece of it.
Oh,
Someone did we lost?
I think
We lost.
we're redoing it. All right, third time is a
Third time's a
charm.
charm. Third time's the charm.
So I think what's gonna happen is it's possible that there was just an unknown issue with having too many spectators. So we're fixing it.
We have confirmation they rolled, and Spetsy will be going first. We have confirmed that part. Which we talked about. Spetsy goes first if he gets that advantage.
Whew. We have 261 people watching.
That's
That is crazy. Did I get
well,
rated and not
man.
even notice?
Surprised the Disney Lorcana official stream rated you.
What?
That was a joke.
I was like,
That was just a joke.
what?
That was just a joke. That was just a joke.
I was like, what were they doing? Do 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 do. That's like my default hum. I just naturally do it. I don't know why. I don't even know what the rhyme is.
Mine is a song I had to perform for pep band in high school.
It is familiar though.
It's played at like every sporting event, mostly basketball games.
All right, so the past slash future. The past has told us that that was set 4 Donald,
Set 4 Donald. Okay.
and it's a
Good
set
to
5
know.
Matt.
So we were right about the
Kind
set
of
of the
right.
mat. We were close. We took a shot in the dark and skimmed the side of it.
All right. Well, let's see. Spectate. Refresh. Any Sarah and Duck fans out there? We'll get the refresh, refresh, refresh.
I may be too young.
No, you're way too old. You're way too old.
Really?
Sarah and Duck is like my
The kid
son
show.
watched it,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and it's a BBC show
Okay. Okay.
about a little girl and her duck.
Sounds like something my sister would have watched.
It's actually quite enjoyable. I mean, it's not as good as Bluey.
Bluey. Oh, Bluey is just
Insane.
I'm a 20-year-old college kid and I watch that show all the time. Like, let's be real here. Let's be real here.
Yeah, it's nice to see shows that seem to be made for like you can watch it at different times of your life and have it mean so much else, so many different
Oh,
things.
100%. 100%. 100%.
R&B in the past is like sounds like a forfeit in the face of freedom. He might want to be careful because we don't know whose side is actually crashing there.
Forfeit in the face of freedom. That's funny. Someone said the sound of bald eagles takes the W.
What would the like does the EU have a theme song of sorts?
Might just have to go with song for the national anthem or whatever, the anthem for every country. So
All played at once on top of each other.
we just gotta get someone to mix them all together and make them sound like it's one song.
Oh,
We're slowly getting there.
well,
Slowly but surely.
hopefully, chat likes looking at these deck lists and us.
Yeah. I mean, what else could we ever? What else could they want? Like, why are they stay here? I thought they were just here for us. Like,
True, true. They're like, ooh, a Teddy Wonderland stream.
mhm.
That's what
That's the type of Lorcana
I
content
get
I want to
to.
consume.
Yes. Click, 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 click. I don't. Can you hear my mouse clicks? I bet you can. I can see the. Yeah, I can see the audio thing go up with each click.
I don't know if you can hear mine. Mine might be too far away from my PC.
You gotta get that new microphone for that.
Honestly, I need to upgrade my mic. Christmas present, right around the corner.
I'm at that age that I just like buy everything I want, and then Christmas comes around, and I'm like, but I have everything I want.
Honestly, well, see, for my family, we do uh, like a grab bag, so I only get one gift. So I have to just like make sure what I
Mm.
want is what I want, and hope that that's what they get me.
Yeah, but
That's where
it's
I'm at.
awkward to be like, I'd like a PS5 for Christmas, please. Like,
Like, can't do
all the
that
cheap
anymore,
things I
unfortunately.
have. Yeah, it's like when we were kids, we could do that, and then like all of the family would maybe put together and give you gift cards. That's how I got my Xbox. I just got a bunch of Best Buy gift cards.
There you go. So I got my Switch. Speaking of which, I don't even know where that thing is, but that's a problem for another time.
Oh, oh,
Fourth time's a charm? Slowly but surely. Remember, the tortoise won the race, not the hare.
oh. I think we're good. I think this is good. We have shuffling. Oh, there's a little bit of lag on Dale there, but Spessie's hands look fine.
Hey, as long as we can see some Disney squares, I'm chilling. That's all I want to see.
We just need to get Dale some better internet, it looks like. Then
They're
again, I
telling me
don't know
that
how. Yeah.
they're telling me that like they didn't run cords to connect their internet under the ocean. We couldn't
Yeah,
get that
like
funding.
one really
Where was
long
that? Where was
cord.
that funding? Where was that funding?
I mean, who knows? I don't know how Pixelborn is set up. So it could be
Yeah.
that it makes Specie the host, and
Mm-hmm.
then Dale has to connect. So whoever
Oh,
the host
Spessie's got.
is.
Ooh,
I think.
I saw a Specie head.
Yeah, I think he should be good. I see Dale's finger moving.
He might be typing. Maybe, possibly.
I don't know where it is that Dale resides. Oh,
I'm just gonna text.
DeCandio is so smart. So smart. EU versus NA.
I don't know if they're waiting on us or if they're waiting on something else.
They should know we're good. I messaged them that we're ready when they are.
Sweet.
I'll send it another time.
I definitely wonder how it works if, like you saying, if it makes Specie the host, then Dale is trying to connect to a internet that or a connection that's halfway across the world. But they seem to be moving at this point. Cards are being stacked on top of each other. Oh,
Oh, uh oh.
Specie went black. Oh, he's back. Something reset? I feel like those
I can
stacks
hear
weren't.
you. Go back, I can hear you.
Uh,
Although your bar.
it like unmuted them, but then my mute things were still there.
Hmm. Hmm. You're up over 330 viewers right now.
Mine says we're at 400 right now.
Wow, maybe I'm just behind.
Flip phone Nokia.
Oh gosh, I had one of those. Looks like we may be making a move to Discord.
Okay then. How can we do this? I think I can unmute you in that, but then how do I? Oh, I know what to do. We'll have Brave Sounds, and I will properties copy. Okay, I'll open your camera here so I can hear you.
Bessie jump scares. Oh, Luke's turned into a ghost.
Can
He's back.
you unmute yourself in video player, please?
Yes. Hold on.
Join the LCC Discord, Marco. All right, so Teddy and I are gonna chit chat through video, so we're gonna be muted and deafened, so we won't hear anything here, and we'll just watch your streams through Discord. Make sure you probably want to deafen yourself too. All right, so we'll go back to the caster's desk. Move this here. We'll wait for them to pop up their screens. Like, I don't want to tell them that they're going to have to wait another 15 more minutes, but because they're not happy that it's taking so long already. But alas, this happens. But now it should work pretty well, and we'll have it all fixed later for everybody. I was like, can you see? Yeah, yeah. I mean, the session is 20 minutes in, but alas. All right, pop out the window. Ooh. We got one. We got one. Here in a second, we'll get another one. Apparently, Netflix is hosting the Pixelboard servers. That's too good. That's too good. That is too dang good. Yes, this looks very, very doable. I think it's one of the double screen ones. And we're good to go. We're good to go whenever everyone is. Oh. Well, I guess it didn't matter. No one heard that except for. Well, I mean, they heard me, but they didn't hear the chat in there. Hello from 15 minutes in the future, Jane. Right? What is the Golden Bachelor? What? Oh, the golden years, like the Golden Girls, but Bachelor. That's that's too good. Oh, whoops! That did not do it the way I thought it would do it. That's fine. It's a slight irritation, but it's honestly like trying to guess what's in their hands is a little more fun in my mind. And then we don't get to see. Yeah, and we don't get to know that they're about to get blown out, right? We get to be like, "Oh, that's a great play," and then we look bad too. Instead of being like, "Oh, well, I know it's in their hand, so of course that's a foolish play. I would never make such a thing." Oh man. Shuffle faster, boys. Shuffle faster. Do. I should probably open this here so I look forward. I have too many screens. I keep like looking here, I look over there, and it's just like I need to look forward. Ooh, it's a good way to start off. It's really, yeah, you need that early lore. I'm kind of interested to wondering what they're going to open up with. It's either going to be like a cannon and another one, or maybe just like Calhoun actually doesn't seem great in this matchup. Like the resist is nice. Ooh, Cove. Yep. So this is kind of spicy. That's just showing mad respect to Fire the Cannons because now Dale gets to go Diablo, move to Cove. You don't have an answer. You don't have pressure to get this out. Next turn, shift Diablo, sing removal, try to, and then like maybe play a 2-drop and move that to Cove. Like then go morph, move to Cove, representing next turn is shift Tinkerbell. Although obviously Cove won't stop a morph from being cannoned. Mm. Yeah, maybe he needs. So if he sees the cannon, rewarded. Although that Pete's probably going to be an irritation. But if he had a, it's like we are just talking about it, a befuddle in hand, Dale could just shift his Diablo to play around it. So it's like the Cove line is just so solid here. Yeah, I'm assuming Spessie's just doing some quests, and then the question is, do you turn in to draw here? Like, I think you just quest because if Diablo is going to be challenging, it's just going to take out the Maleficent normally. Um, this Pete is going to do a good job of not letting the Diablo answer anything, and if Diablo jumps in to brawl, then the Fire the Cannons in Spessie's hand answers it. Yeah, the matchup is definitely not favored for the Amethyst Steel beatdown, but it's not unwinnable. There are lines and game play patterns that can happen, and this is one of them. And Dale even has the Diablo. Ooh, Ursula 3. I wonder what the dice was for. Oh, getting ready to eat something. Yep. Which is maybe okay. It's unfortunate, but it gets it out of their hand. They can't play a goat if they do that. What Dale's really hoping is that Spessy does not play another Pete this turn. But Spessy only has one Pete. So that's. It was an interesting play where, like, Dale baits the Pete by being like, hey, you need to stop me from singing removal. And in doing so, it allows the Ursula to be able to sing next turn. Yep. Fox. It's always nice for Diablos. 10 lore is a lot. Well, we do get to take out one broom with the Diablo still, because it is still 2-3. So my guess is that we want to play a character and take out the two characters that can, on their own, take out Ursula, forcing a Fox to come down. I mean, if we have the strength, the game might be over. Because while 10 is a lot of lore, going to 11 lore, having one card in hand and a broom in play, that better be a dock. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it better be some card draw right there? Maybe goat into goat into goat or something of the sorts. Otherwise, yeah, something that's hard to interact with. But based on how long it's taken Dale, either he doesn't want to ink a card to do what he needs to do, or he doesn't have it. Hmm. It's it's sadly too slow. I've played a lot of Amethyst Steel Doc, and you just don't have the singers to do it. You're not really playing a 3 drop and then singing and then bouncing. Whereas in like the other ones, they're like, oh yeah, I'll sing with Maleficent or Crab or Fox, and then I'll bounce it. And this one, you want to quest. Like, if you have a character that can quest, you want to quest with it most of the time. The only time you don't is when you're like, well, I cannot quest this turn and then quest with 5 things and they only have 1 or 2 challengers, so then they can't challenge every turn. Whereas in sometimes if you quest every turn with your characters and they have 1, 2 challengers, they answer that. Then they answer your next one and they answer your next one. And you take 1 turn off, you'll make up what you missed on that quest plus some. Yeah, it's an interesting hand from Dale here. It's like not a great one, but not doing too terribly. I mean, that is a lot of lore the Spessie's at right now. It's kind of scary going to 13, quasi 14 with 3 more lore in play. It's got a tough choice. Like taking out the Ursula is like if Dale draws the storm, like you gotta nip it, right? Like the Ursula 3 is crazy. Yeah, it's quite the tank. It's just like, which do you do? Chose to draw a card, didn't make his next choice any easier. Oh, maybe it did. He he did the math. He did the math and was like, you know what? I'm gonna quest and I'm gonna win. That's what I think he's doing. Or he's at least not afraid. Yeah. I assume the Pete's just gonna either the Ursula trades with the Merlin and you keep the Pete around because you know that there is at least a cannons in hand, right? So you know that one of those cards is cannons because cannons is just going to take out your Ursula. So then you do that and you still have your 4/4 Pete that can then challenge the Rose the next turn if need be. I think chat just finally caught up. They're finally able to watch now. They're like, ooh, it's clean, it's nice. What is that? That's a Pluto. That's a Pluto. He's like just slowly moving his hand to pretend that it's lagging. Interesting. I wonder it. So this play makes me really think that. Wait, wasn't there a cannon still? Oh, I guess the cannons got played. Oh, he dis. Oh, he double dis. I missed that. I missed that. Pretty good. So, do you send the Rose into the Pluto so they can't take down the castle? Like, I almost think you have to. I hate it, but I think you have to. Because then they only have 4 damage. But this is rough. This is a rough spot. I mean, you quest with. It's. Alright, so you can quest with Rose once, and then he sends he sends Pluto and Diablo at castle, and then Ursula trades with Rose. You have nothing, and he's got 1 to 3 cards in hand. Or you hit Pluto, and then they take 2 turns. It's I don't like either play, honestly. Like it probably doesn't. Yeah, it's rough. Maybe this might be still the correct play, because like there's a world that Dale decides to just use the Pluto to take out the Rose and does other things, but probably make it so Diablo can trade with Rose now. Yep. And now the other 2 take out the castle. It does so many. It had the hidden mode of +2 strength. Like rarely does that one see play. Yeah, at this point, Spessy just needs to hope anything he plays lives. And see, this is what I was saying. I was pretty sure that he had the Diablo, but since he discarded the cannon, it didn't really say that, so it's hard to say. But this game feels over. But there's a crazy world that it's like draw into dock into goat of sorts. Like the dock deck has the ability, like play dock, draw dock and an inkable, ink, play the dock, draw 2 more, play another character. Oh, that's. Although I think this is missequencing, possibly, or Spessy just passes. But like, I feel like you have to draw the card with the followers before passing the turn, but you don't want to leave a card in hand because of discard, right? I would not be surprised if Spessy just passes the turn or just quests and doesn't sack it. Like hasn't drawn a single piece of removal, and at this point, if you're Spessy, you have to just be like, fine, if he draws removal, I lose. If he doesn't and he somehow bricks on the 1 of 8, then like we have a chance. Oh, we're drawing. I think Spessy might have slammed that goat a little too fast, but it's hard to say. It's unlikely that any other card in Spessy's deck really gets played here over the goat. Even a dock at this point, I might have still just played goat. I mean, there's a world I ink the goat and play the dock and hope to draw more, but the goat's like 3-ish lore. Can Dale play removal before... Oh, there's a strength. Spessy's just like, draw another goat, please. Please draw another goat. That's all Spessy needs is a goat or flower, or a flower and then have it live a turn. I think he has one less. Oh, I'm just moving it. Never mind. Oh, that represents lethal, but what else are we doing? Dock, 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 dock. If it was a dock, you would have slammed it. Oh! I understand why he was thinking. It's weird. It's like... I actually don't think I would... No, you had to because of... No, even then. Anything that answers one answers both. Because of muses. Yeah, it's like any removal answers both, and even like a sudden chill answers both because of muses, and we still have the Ursula 3. So you kind of have to only play one. I guess at that point you're playing around. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like the muses is just like game over if he has a song, and he did. I don't know if there's an out at this point, because well, Dale is lethal in play. Oh my! So Gather's not even on the table, even though I don't think it's in the list. All right, first game going to Dale. That was a pretty good comeback. Yeah, he did. He didn't draw off of them. But he had cards in hand at the time, and the double sudden chill was kind of brutal. I was saying that the Calhoun's probably not great in this matchup. It would have been pretty good in that game particular where there was no Shift Diablo. Yeah, in that game it would have done some work. At least it would have taken down Cove. And he didn't. It's easy to be like, we know he lost. Obviously, this was a mistake. When it might not have been. Like, he could have lost had he done it the other way, right? Like, it's really hard to be the aggro deck and be like, oh, you were supposed to play defensive there. Like, all right, let's cut us back. They're doing moles right now. looking for something. Probably a quick potty break or something of the sorts. Makes sense. You have to aggressively mull. It basically means he didn't have Diablo in his hand. Although in this matchup, now that he knows what he's playing against, the sideboarding can change, or sideboarding, the mulliganing can drastically change on what is keepable and what isn't. Whereas in like some matchups, all of a sudden Ursula 2 becomes one of your best cards. This is not a matchup you want Ursula 2 at all, right? But you're more likely to keep your Cove, and you're more likely to keep, say, a Smee, or just Curve in general, as well as an Ursula 3, because if Ursula 3 doesn't get checked, like we saw last game, she just runs away with it. And, like, that's half the power of this Diablo deck. It's like, yeah, Diablo's busted in half. It's very good. It's one of the best cards printed, right? But the rest of the deck is so good that, like, it doesn't need the Diablo. I won my finals of Seattle and I didn't have the Shift Diablo combo in any of the games. Like, the rest of the deck is so powerful, it can carry for you if it needs to. And it just happens to be that Diablo is the cheapest of the threats. So it's the first one that comes down. So when you don't answer it and you lose, you're like, oh, it's all Diablo. And realistically, it's all of the threats in the way they're sequenced in the deck. It's very punishing if you don't have a direct answer. It's like the best way to deal with that is to print more cheap answers. Yeah, I think he has to play the Fire the Cannons because he has the Exerted Maleficent. Sometimes you could maybe wait, which is dangerous because of Cove. But in this spot, if he has the cannons like you say he does, I apparently didn't look when he revealed his hand. I trusted you that he had it, but you're just like, oh, he's got it. He's got it. But this isn't open. This is quite an opening. Yeah, but it doesn't feel good, but at the same time, I'm loving a 1-3 right now. As long as I mean, that's unfortunate, but whoo-wee. One cost answer, threat, threat, threat. Mm-mm. Yes. Big fan. The only thing that disappoints me about this list is that there's only 3 docks. Let's just cut one of those castles. Put a dock in. Castle's overrated, sadly. I think the last game did an excellent job of showing why Castle is overrated. If you are behind at all, it is absolutely garbage. You have to be winning or at parity, but that parity also has to be at a low mass on board. Like, you just can't play it if there's 3 characters on the other side of the board, and that's not what you want. Because you're not answering their characters, you're deploying threats, and if they answer them, then like at least your other threats have a turn to survive and then exert to gain lore. Castle doesn't really do that. Like, I would be playing library over castle personally. And the way I play library is normally play it, move something, and draw cards on the same turn to guarantee value out of it, which you just cannot do with library. But boy, oh boy, that's lethal. Can she do it? Can she do it? So I think we have to basically play, like we need to sing Double Storm on a Maleficent and a Smee, draw 2 cards, and then play 1 more removal on... Oh, okay. That also does it. Double sing removal and then bounce one of the Maleficents. Oh no. Oh no. I think you have to bounce both Maleficents. Because you don't want to give him the draw on the Genie. But, yeah, because if he draws an ink... Oh no, you bounce the Genie. Then he has to discard a card, and then he bounce a Maleficent. So you do bounce the Genie first. I forgot how the bag works for a second. And then the second copy of Sudden Chill goes off. You can't target Smee anyways, but you'd want to target the one anyways, because there's a terrible world that the Smee quests twice more and then dies or banishes itself. But this is looking very scary and rough for our North American hero, Dale. Ooh, is that a dock? That's a dock. I'm Team EU at the moment. I'm not gonna lie, that dock just made me change. We're on the other side of the world now, boys. It's looking kind of scary. And based on the fact that it was Sudden Chill that was played last turn, we're pretty much under the assumption that those are not removal in hand. You take out Ursula and just win, maybe? Because that's the only way you lose. Probably just a dock. I'm assuming, well, any, like, another Sudden Chill or something to just bounce that up, the fresh Maleficent. I'd rather have a storm. But yeah. Yeah. But we know he doesn't have that. It's a rough play. It's really rough when you don't go to 16. But yeah, like all the ways that I can think of that Dale comes back involve her double singing. But now I'll have to use my imagination. So yeah, we could challenge the Maleficent and then just play a Storm or Rage on the other Well, we don't want to do that because we don't want to bounce the dock. But maybe bouncing the dock is okay because he didn't ink. So he doesn't have a 1-drop as well. So it could overload his hand, but that's still not great. It's still not good. It's terrifying. That's a dock. Let's see what we draw. Interesting. We didn't go with the Bruno, but that's fine. So we're kind of putting ourselves at, even if we draw a song, it's not, I guess the song bounces and removes, so it's still okay. And goes to 15, and then Diablo and Doc can take out that if there's not a Fire the Cannons chilling in hand. Did Dale somehow stabilize? 3 cards in hand. We know one's a Maleficent. Oh, that's a good way to gain some more lore. That's a great way to get this Maleficent to gain you lore. So that puts us at 18 with 2 cards in hand. How funny would it be that he was like missing all the removal, and then he docks into like removal, and then draws another one, just can't play it because of the Pete. I love how chat is like chanting freedom from the first game being done. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure almost every EU country that is being represented is also a democracy, but you know. I'm pretty sure no matter who wins, freedom is winning. So let's just. Beast. I mean, what else are you going to do but draw cards? I think so. Yeah, you gotta. Like, you can't. Drawing a card is worth less than that one lore right now by far. It's like, yeah, answer my Diablo. I don't care. Like, you can't race. You just have to get rid of every lore you can. I mean, this is terrifying. Like, if this was like the World Poker Series and you had little percentage bars, it would be like 95% in Spessie's favor right now. Like, maybe it would be definitely above 90. But Dale has like the cards in play that if Spessie has nothing, like just blanks, just if Spessie just plays characters that do not gain lore when they come into play or prevent Dale from playing actions, Dale might be able to take the game and win the game in like 4 turns, 3 turns. But yep, all right, game over. Oh, that is. We need that. We need the Elsa like freeze effect to like lock them down for a full turn. You know, we have still not seen a single Gontu. Maybe it's been inked and I haven't seen it happen yet. But bro, that Pete that won him the game. It was one of Pete. He's drawing his Pete. Yeah, the one of Pete, we've seen both games. And no Gontus. Chat's discussing the Pluto turn that we're talking about, whether or not you challenge the Pluto or not. It's a tough choice. I honestly don't know which is the right play, but I think both of them are not good. Like, if we. I was just going to say, I think if we challenge Pluto, we gain one more lore. Most likely. And, like, in a weird way, I might have inked it. I might have just inked it and passed or inked in Quest and been like, well, if I draw a dock, I need more ink. If I draw a Gontu, I need 5 ink. So what's better, like top decking a Gontu when I can't play it, or playing a castle that, like, it was basically spend 4 and make my opponent lose 2 lore. Chat is like, the correct play was to play library instead, and then you get a card. Like, yeah, well, yeah, pretty good. But library would have also been banished though, because of the Cove. There was 8, 11, 14ish, no, 6, and then 3 and 3, so 11 damage that could have been dealt. So we could have he could have taken out the library and the rose still. But we could have, like, sent the rose into Pluto, drawn a card, nerfed the Pluto, still had 1 ink, no more ink left over, but then, like, had another card. All right, let's jump back in. Gotta love it when it comes to this. Yeah. Oh, are we gonna have it? Ooh, Enchanted Morph. Diablo. Gone too. Gone too. Uh-oh. Imagine. Imagine he shifts the Diablo and Spessy top decks the cannon. Like, he shifts it to play around the befuddle. Oh, he didn't. He's like, befuddle me, I don't care, bro. He, like, inks the Diablo and plays a morph, and then shifts out like a beast. I am a little surprised that there's no babooms in this list. I think I played 4 Fire the Cannons and 2 babooms and 2 smashes in my list. Because Ursula 3 is terrifying. And you need an answer to Diablo on Cove. Another castle. This is not what Spessy wants. Oh, they were? Oh, I thought he only had 1. That's not too bad. There's only 1 inkable in his hand. or 3 inkables, I guess. Never mind. I got really scared for a second. For Specie, I was just like, only 1 inkable, oh no. I think it's... So Gontu got inked the first time. Now we're inking a castle. Probably playing Calhoun. Lets us double tap the Cove. And technically does not get... I can't really think of an out unless Dale is like... one drop another baby Diablo, shift, sing, storm, or rage. And that's not great. That's a lot of resources used. Like, you... Well, he'd have to play a 1-drop and a 2-drop here, so he'd have 3 characters total. But, like, you don't want to be playing another Baby Diablo. That's basically discarding a card at this point. But a Diablo drawing cards every turn is a Diablo drawing cards every turn. Looks like my camera's frozen. Good thing I wasn't trying to pick my nose. That would have been awkward. Yep. Cove's just chilling. Oh, we're taking down that Cove. Cove did nothing. Saved the lore. Calhoun should gain lore when it banishes locations as well. Luckily, I'm sure he's going to be testing some of this with some of his EU teammates just to see how things are going. So it's some pretty good testing right before some LCQ action. Chat wants us to play a best of 5. And then Breezy says, why stop at 5? Going crazy. I mean, I would be fine, but Specie has to sleep at some point. Now, to be fair, if this was like a big event that we had, like if this wasn't voted on, but say this was like involved on DLC finishes or something of the sort, I could definitely see this being a best of 5. A 16-person event? Why not? Best of 5 everything, finals, best of 7. Let's get all the content out of it. I'm back in the day, I'm pretty sure Pro Tours finals were best of 5, and I might just be thinking of Worlds. I know at some point there was a best of 5 Magic event I watched, because I remember someone winning 3-0 and I was like, wow. Doing Calhoun things. If only it had evasive, right? On your turn. It'll be a cold and dead day before I stop calling Pluto a planet. Pluto's actually a dog, guys. Got this 5/5 ball of gas going on defense mode. This is an intriguing spot. The genie is threatening the Diablo. And normally I'm just like, fine, you're gonna answer my Diablo, whatever. I'll draw a card of it at least. But there's the chance that he just can play two characters and sing a rage. So he might just deploy a character and pass and wait to then be able to do both. Like, because it's unlikely he can go 2-drop, 2-drop, or 2-drop, 3-drop. I don't know if it just turns it around. But being at 2-2 right now, it's a very low lore count. Like, this is anyone's game for sure. Yeah, I'm assuming he doesn't have a Pluto, because if he had a Pluto, he would have played that last turn instead of Pete to protect his Ursula. But, maybe we're doing this rage play. Oh, no. Oh, the Elsa. That's, ooh. Elsa is not a Maleficent hyper aggro card. That is not what Dale wants to be seeing. Chat's too funny. All sorts of things. We've got quite a few of the other players in the EU versus NA in here. I see Artibax. I know I saw Bivens earlier. Sailors chatting. I saw RMB. Oh. Yes. Oh, yep, there's Moyen. They've got a lot of skin in the game. They're all rooting on this. It's kind of see. It's like, where are we going to start off? Who's going to take that early lead? Big. If you like, if you played Magic, you have probably heard of both of those players before. I mean, I am a big fan. I was gonna say I'm a big fan of DeCandio, but Karsten's a little bit more famous than he is in Magic. And in Lorcana, DeCandio might be more famous, even though Karsten's won a DLC and done well as well, so he might be. But as continue, sorry. Yeah, lots of big games, big names. Yes, it does. And Anna just banishes a character. It gives +2 strength, or banishes, or discards a card. Yeah, the one of Doc almost brought Dale back in the game last game, but goat goes Burr. Mm. Yeah, we did forget about Cove. So Dark Phoenix in chat does make a point that even if we had challenged the Pluto, if they move Pluto to the location, it's 1, 2, 5, 6, 7 exactly. So at that point, the correct play is probably quest or not quest and don't play the castle. So it's just so Spessy still probably did one of the better lines. Whether or not inking the castle was the correct line is hard to say. Now this castle is a little bit better. I wonder if that was like a bluff tank where he's just like, oh yeah, I've got removal in my hand. That's what I'm tanking on. Maybe I have another character, instead of like obviously just moving because it's the right play. I'm a little surprised that the castle stayed in Spessy's hand and they're actually becoming relevant here. Um, it could have just had to do with the fact that Dale didn't have anything really. Wasn't bluffing with that one ink. Um, where had Dale had like the double discard or a better double sing, could have been a little different. Elsa is a pain in the butt. I want to say they're frozen, but I know they weren't because I saw Dale's hand just ever slightly move. Interesting. Oh, there we go. There we go. That would be why he... I was wondering why he inked the Bruno. And that would be why. I do like these sleeves that Spessy has. It's like a... It's like a dragon with a Starry Night background. Genie's pretty good. Like, Spessy's at a low lore count for now. Did Spessy not gain his location lore? He did? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we don't move because Pluto's taken that down. But, I mean, we paid 4, we gained 2 lore, we drew a card, and we, like, made 2 characters quest. Or challenge. Well, that's a good one. I assume we hit the fresh genie twice, so if we draw a rage, we can just hard cast it and take out the other genie. It's all exerted, but it's actually not exerted. It's not great. No. No. Spessy's just gonna drop a dock. just play a dock, Spessy. Do it. Do it. That would be pretty good too. Oh my god. We're going for the draw. Oof. Goats are good. Oof. Broom into broom. Don't mind if I just gain a lore here. Don't mind me. Yeah. I mean, the game's not over. No cards in hand. Yeah, like Dale has so many outs. Oh, he does. I mean, we just hypnotize it, right? I was like, I mean, it's kind of an educated guess. He had 4 open ink. Spessy had no cards in hand. I think Spessy had no cards in hand. Well, you called it. Drawing that strength. Yeah. It's kind of weird. It might have been right to go after Broom. All right. So go for it. Oh, you first. It's what he needs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Um, Well, he needs another removal. He needs to shift Tinkerbell and quest all out. That's what he needs to do. And hope. Yeah. Like take out the card draw, gain another lore, gain 6, go to 12. Hope we draw and answer the next turn to prevent Spessy from winning. But Spessy's going to 17 with the goat, or like quasi 17. Or sorry, quasi 18. Oh, with no cards in hand. No, you got to hit the goat this time. Sadly, I think. Maybe it is. It's tough. Maybe it is right to go after the thing. The problem is without the snakes, he can't do both. So depending on what, like maybe there's sudden chill still in hand. If there's a sudden chill in hand, you definitely leave the goat because you're like, what are you gonna do? Bounce it and ink it? Who cares? You can't replay it in the same turn. And we want you to cut back on card draw, which is what I was gonna say the last time. Is like he had no cards in hand and like 5 ink, 4 ink, so he can't bounce. We know he doesn't have snake in his deck, so it's impossible for him to bounce play. And so you cut off his card draw, so the worst case scenario is he gains lore. But had we done it the other way around, like I think the the lore totals would be basically the same, but Spessy would be down 2 cards. I'm willing, or I can't wait to hear the reasoning behind it because I'm sure someone will bring it up and ask Dale afterwards, and he'll have a good reason as to why it happened. Most likely. Could have also just brain farted. That happens. I've done it a lot. Yeah, especially when you play around a card, because you play around something and they don't have it, it makes you look bad. Whereas if you play around it and they have it, it makes you look like a genius. And normally when you play around something, it's. And this is why it's Genie better than Rabbit right now. Whatever, just draw the strength. Just draw the strength. The strength answers the board. The storm gives you a turn and draws you into more answers. Amuses a card, but probably not good. Wow, yeah, that's dead blanks. It looks like EU wins the first one. Yeah, Dale needs to draw more removal. As I'm sure he's quite aware. As he's quite aware. Also, just didn't. Yeah, and there was no. My brain just turned off right there. There was no something. One person left the game, and all of a sudden my brain's like, I don't know how to work anymore. What are you talking about? But that was pretty close. Almost able to stabilize. Oh, I was gonna say we never saw Tinkerbell. Um, he hit it. He didn't do it super quick, and I think that was because he knew about the the cannons. Although he didn't have it in the first game, though he could have played it and he didn't. So yeah, he didn't even have it at that point. And that happens sometimes. And I do believe our next match, let me find it. Guys. Ooh, can't wait. Some good games. Oh, man. Let's... 1 second. All right, I'm going to add... Let's... All right, Dale. You can just talk about it right now. You're still muted, but they can hear you on stream. Oh, hold on. I apparently had you muted. I think I had you muted from an ICL thing or something. I don't remember doing it, but I guess I did. All right, we can hear you now.
Oh, unreal.
Yeah,
that was
rough beat.
unreal. I think I played that well. I already know the turn that I or so earlier in that game, I'm my hands on Ursula after I deal with the Elsa. I think it's after I deal with the Elsa and the genie.
Mm-hmm.
I leave the genie, and I didn't want to get punished really hard by a fox in hand because he had 4 in hand.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so I could have quested with the Ursula, and then his genie. I'd get punished on fox. That would be the only way. So I don't do it, and then I'd lose by 1. That's crazy.
Oh, I wasn't actually counting your lore. You did end up just losing by the 1 lore.
19. Yeah, I went to 19.
I didn't see that at the end because I was just like, oh, he showed his hand and it was nothing. Yeah, that's brutal. I was thinking the other thing we discussed was you played around the bounce package. You banished his goat instead of his broom.
Chernabog?
And then Chernabog
right?
the next turn. Both of them. Because you did it 2 turns in a row. He like top decked a goat after you answered his first goat.
Yeah.
So the thought is that maybe I didn't know what was in your hand. I was like, well, maybe you can bounce the goat and answer, or no, you answer the 1/2, so he doesn't get to draw a card, and then you just get to challenge away the goat, and it's like the same amount of lore gain, but he's down a card, and so that was like the possible other play, but it feels so wrong because we're used to playing around snakes and foxes. But since he only has fox and only had 4 or 5 ink, it like gave you a chance that if he did bounce the goat, you could make him discard it. But if you had no discard, I could see why you wouldn't do that.
No, that play's right. That was a misplay. I should have shot shoot the Chernabog in the last turn. Leave him with goat. I think he's at 19. So no, he's at 17 minus 2. He's at 16.
Like
he would be at 16 with the goat.
So the turn that you killed or you banished the first goat, if you had hit the broom, he might not have drawn the second goat as well, because he would have been 1 card short, and he emptied his hand on that second turn. It's hard to say.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, a lot happened that game. Like, he had 4 cards on 1 turn and then had no cards the next turn.
Yep. And then back up to like 2, and then it was like crazy. You did great though, for not having the Emerald Steel have it all.
Yeah, I mean, game 3, I had it all, kind of, but it was off. Befuddle threw it off curve because he drew the crab to You do the
Oh,
crab to Calhoun.
so you had the shift
So in
Why didn't
game
you
1 I
shift?
had Diablo.
in game 3? Well, if you had it, why didn't you just shift it? Then you can't befuddle.
Oh right, huge misplay in the beginning.
Possibly. Like, we know if you did that, he would have top decked the cannons and punished
A
you,
cannon,
right?
yeah. I was just
Like,
No, that was definitely. I was just playing safe to go into
yep.
it.
And that's perfectly fair. It's like there's two lines to go, right? You play aggressive and hope he doesn't top deck the answer, or you like his hand. You looked at his hand and it was like so weak, and we're just
Yeah,
sitting there and like, oh, what's he gonna do? It's like a couple castles. Who cares? And then like you show his hand again, and it's like Elsa's coming down after the genie, and it's like, oh my goodness, this is so not good.
yeah. His hand starts to get even better. Oh,
Yep.
brutal. I think that game is very different if I shift in the beginning. The what did I really valued the storm because I had Storm Ursula 3 on the play. Like that's like guarantee
Mm.
gonna trigger.
Oh
So I
yeah.
didn't want to ditch that in the beginning, and then I drew a sudden chill. And I'm like, okay, I could ditch this. Hmm. Rough, rough, rough.
Makes sense, but oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah. That Pluto put
Pavel
in
doing
so
some.
much work.
Oh yeah, it did. I was quite impressed with the Pluto.
Yeah, Pluto was the. So I wasn't even. We weren't even gonna play Pluto. I wasn't going to, and then Zan's like, "I'm gonna play Pluto." I'm like, "Oh, fine. If you're gonna show it, I'll show it." But like, there's no way Pluto stays a secret all the way into Paris. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
might
No
as
way.
well.
No way.
Yeah.
Um have you so you're still liking the Tinkerbells then?
Yeah. I think it's still good.
Okay. I honestly I didn't play it in Seattle because it just wasn't in the list I was handed, and I'm a big fan of Baboom, so I was sold as soon as I was given it. And
Yeah.
uh Baboom did some pretty good work for me in Seattle. I'm assuming you've tried it, but
I did. Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I mean, it worked out. It worked out for you.
I think the reason I like it is because I played a whole bunch of like green steel dock and purple steel dock aggro where I was running like 4 babooms and or cannons. And so I got more used to using it. So I was probably a little more apt on it.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
But
it was good.
anyways,
I played a mix of both our decks going into
yeah.
the last week I had here. So
Well, the mix of both of our decks, as if you didn't make
yeah.
like 90% of it.
Oh, I
Well,
appreciate that.
still a good showing. And
Yeah.
this, you're not out, right? It's multi.
No, 3 rounds, 3 rounds. And so last night I tested this matchup and I got 3-0'd. I'm like, oh
Oh
man.
no.
Yeah.
So
Like I
what is
already
it
knew
in
it's
this
kind of
matchup?
rough.
Is it the genie or
Genie. Genie is crazy in this matchup. I also wasn't finding I'm not maxed out on everything, and my my lower end is just it's the same problem, right? We if we don't find our Ursula songs when we're on the draw, it's hard to deal with the aggro.
mm,
Like the line that I like to do into this deck, he plays a bunch of ways to kill it. Like ideally I'd like to morph Pete Tink, but he has so many answers for morph, so I couldn't
Hmm.
find that line.
it's like 6 1-drop answers. It's oof.
Yeah.
I was curious about in game one, you chose to play the Cove like right as the game started. Did you have the one drop Diablo in there and just wanted to respect the cannons? Or was that just that was the only one drop in your hand?
No, the as I was playing, I found that it was hard to the turns that I wanted to play Cove and move stuff into the Cove, I only had one. So I was like, I'm just
Hmm.
gonna call one in the beginning. He's aggro, so he's not gonna challenge this. He's gonna quest with whatever he has anyway. So, and his guys are small.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at Speci's list; it's kind of built to get that draw. And was that something you had thought of going into it? Is how am I going to deal with all this draw? And I think it's just unfortunate circumstances where you didn't find the removal when you needed to take out some of that draw.
Yeah, it was more. Genie is such a problem
Hmm.
for this deck, and it's fine Cove. It's like this makes me want to play 4 Coves. If I go to 4 Coves, I'll feel much better. Or my original list that I submitted before cutoff, um, had Smeeze in it.
Okay.
So that would have been far better.
Yeah. Yeah. Those. I
But
think the SME there definitely. I think it changes. It could have
It's all
changed a
right.
lot.
It
yeah,
sadly it still gets hit by the cannons after one quest or one challenge, and it still gets befuddled. But it is good
Hmm.
to have more characters to challenge with on turn 2 for sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
I did want to ask about all the one like the one of Gogo, the one of Doc, the one of Ana. We saw the Ana come down multiple times, and then
Yep.
the Doc also. What was the choice to include all those one ofs instead of buffing up some other counts to 3 or 4?
Yeah, so in open deck list, one ofs kind of are a little impactful because they have to respect the card being there.
Hmm.
That's the only reason that I was there. If I
Okay.
were to play a closed tournament, I would probably not play the go-go. But I know there's a
Okay.
lot of blue decks here, so they kind of have to respect that.
Hmm.
Um, no, but that was really it. I also wanted to play another set 6 card.
Yeah. Fair. And I mean, we saw the one of. I think they played a big part. Speci being able to find his Pete in game 2. The
And that
one
Pete locked
of.
it up for him.
Oh, the
Um,
one of Pete was so brutal.
Yeah.
uh, and so definitely the one ofs definitely kind of showed out. I know that you mentioned it with it being an open deck list, and you can kind of respect that card being there. It shows why they can be so impactful in those situations.
Yeah. 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 Um, I'm gonna review this match. There's probably a lot that I could have done differently.
Yeah, you'll get to hear us say a bunch of plays that were probably wrong constantly
Yeah.
through the
No.
match.
I felt like game 1 was played very methodically. I was like, okay,
Hmm.
I'm playing to like I'm playing to my only possible outs, and they kind of worked out. So
Hmm.
Yeah, they did.
Coming into it, when like obviously going first is so much better than going second. But then
yeah,
what was the game plan going into game 1, knowing you were going second, and with how Speci's deck was built, with how many one drops, what was kind of your ideal game plan going second into the list?
find the 2 drop.
Hmm.
That was just like find 2 drop, stick Ursula. Um,
He
if
played
I
that
can
Doc.
find, yeah, yeah. I was that game 2. I had to play or game 1. I docked
I think it was.
just
I think it was game 2.
I think that was game 3.
yeah.
Was it game 3?
That was game 2 where I went
Game
dock, and
2.
then he had
Okay.
to befuddle it, and then I had to turn with dock. On 5, I went Doc Diablo
Hmm.
with the Muse on board to his Doc Maleficent. And then I found a Storm to deal with the Maleficents. But he drew the Pete to stop me
Yes.
from. Because if he didn't draw Pete, my hand was Prince John Chill with Muse on board. So I would have been able to shoot a card in hand and bounce a Maleficent. And he wouldn't lure me out. It was game 2. No, game 2 he ran. I think I was low on. I didn't write it down. But yeah, that stopped any chance of coming back.
Hmm.
I'm asking chat right now if they have any questions they want to ask you before we let you go. They said, "What do you call a spider with 10 eyes?"
I don't know.
I don't know either. Oh, hilarious. That's. Whoa, Chuck, you're too good. You're too good. It's just a spider.
We have one. It says, so easy to question from the bleachers, but I don't understand Elsa over Genie. Would love to hear that thought process. I guess that might have been
We
for
kind of talked about
Spessi's
it,
deck
but if you want to
more.
go over
Yeah.
it again.
I
Oh,
think.
was that one of his turns? He dropped.
Well, no,
He
that
had
was
Genie as well.
no, that wasn't for Spessy. That was for Dale, because Dale banished the Elsa over the Genie, and they were wondering
Oh,
why
okay,
you
yeah,
did
yeah,
that.
Oh, because of the 2 lore.
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
they were wondering why you took out the Elsa instead of the Genie. I assume it was just because,
Yeah,
like, the Elsa could have taken more
body.
things down, but it is
Maybe.
possible.
Yeah.
I don't know if the one
Yeah.
lore
That changes.
mattered, but
That
it
probably
might have.
changes the game different. That changes the game as well too.
Yeah, quite a few.
What did it leave? I think I was
Oh,
putting myself in a position to. How much damage was on the Elsa? 2? They both had 3 health on them, right?
I think
Yeah,
so.
they both had 3 left. Yeah.
Man,
And
let's see if
then
there's another.
someone asked a question about why goat over bog, but you answered that earlier.
Yeah.
In game 2, you used a strength with Diablo instead of holding a turn so he could double sing with Ursula to clear the next play. I feel like at that time,
Yeah, I was just. I think
Spessy was
I
so
was
high.
making sure. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
really high, and I just didn't want any more.
Yeah, I think I probably would have done the same.
Yeah, because we talked about that like during the match. What was live was like, is it better to get rid of the bog versus the goat? And I
What
think.
when you were gone, Teddy, he answered that question
Oh, did
as
he
well.
answer? Okay. He did answer. Okay, that makes sense.
He had also said that he didn't quest with an Ursula once, and had he
Yeah, and that's
quested with it, yeah, he
yeah.
would have
That's
had the
that was the
lethal.
first thing I. That was the 1st
Mhm.
thing I said when we came in the
Okay.
when I came on here. Yeah, the first thing is like I didn't want to get punished by a fox.
Yep. Someone says cut the dock. The card's not great. Keep the extra Ana to handle threats and adds an extra Tamatoa and it goes smoother. Or no, and add an extra Tamaga. I think that's the go-go. I don't know.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of Doc. How have you been liking it? Hey, Spessy.
Yeah, I love Doc.
Nice.
Yeah, Doc is a great card. Doc is well, because a lot of the times in the stalemate and what it was before is the only chance we could draw on our turn is Beast or Prince John, and sometimes we just gotta dig. It's the only card that lets us dig.
Right. Oh well,
So,
congrats,
and like,
Spessy.
Thank you,
sorry.
thank you.
Cut you off, Dale.
No, go ahead. All good, all good.
And so you pulled the first win for Team EU to our sad NA commentators. As we watched, we cried, we screamed, all the above. We threw things at the screen.
Everything in agony.
Was there any cool moments in that game that you wanted to bring up?
I mean, like starting from game 1, like honestly, the line this man took was just so weird. I was so confused as to what was happening, and I just let like this hidden cove just sat on the board the whole game. I don't think Diablo was ever in there, and
Yeah.
he just traded my whole board out with this one cove. I definitely feel like something went a little bit wrong around turn 3, turn 4 for me. I think possibly I was speaking with some of my London boys, and I think maybe I think my turn 3 I go Pete when I it was a bit early. Probably should have like waited for Ursula to come down. They reckon there was something went a bit wrong. I think also I could have taken some challenges maybe into the hidden cove, but he just made it so awkward for me, like playing a very unorthodox line. I said to him in between like game 1 and 2, like it felt like it was the kind of line you would not take in a closed decklist format, but very much like a line he would take in an open decklist format, having practiced the matchup, right? It was like the hidden cove on turn 1, and then the Diablo on turn 2, I think. Which obviously usually it's the other way around.
So the reason the reason that we discussed that you played the Pete on turn 3 was he was
Mm.
representing in a Diablo, and had you not played Pete, he could have shifted Diablo and sang removal on your character.
Yeah, yeah, that does ring a bell. I think there was like an ink decision maybe which I got wrong. Like I think I inked Smee when I had Fire the Cannons in hand, and
Mm.
maybe I think I ended up. I don't remember what I kept, maybe like a goat or something, but I think around turn 4 I would have loved to have been able to go like Fire the Cannons plus Doc, and I ended up with this Fire the Cannons stuck in hand, and he played like a
Mm.
Pete when it was my last card in hand, and just made things very awkward for me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I obviously didn't draw any of my card draw either. Like I think I would have been okay if I hit a Genie or a Doc or something.
Hmm.
It was obviously a very close one, but he just like made it so awkward for me, and I don't think he exactly had that much of a good hand in game 1 either.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think it's very, 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 very favored for me when I go first. Even if he has a pretty good hand, it's favored for me going when I go first. But he made
Yeah, I
like
don't know
things
if
so awkward
you
for me.
I guess you couldn't have watched it, but before you came in, he was saying that he played last night and he got 3-0'd and was not feeling good about this matchup. And the Genie is
Yeah,
like terrifying, which
yeah.
is
The genie
crazy.
he makes a difference. So I played this deck in Seattle, right? It's basically based off what I played in Seattle, because in Seattle I was prepping with Moyen, and he played against this deck a
How
whole
did
bunch for
you
me.
how did you feel
I
about
didn't
your Emerald Steel matchup in Seattle? Did you feel favored
pretty
there?
no, no.
But now you do.
Like yeah, I definitely feel favored going first. Going second, like if they have Shift Diablo, for example, like there's not much I can do. Like if I go fire the cannons on their one cost Diablo, even it feels very, very slow to start things off, but I can get there. But yeah, the deck just got a lot more juice in general. Like Calhoun's pretty good. That put in some serious work to deal with the Ursula with its resist as well. Um, Gan
We
2 as
were
well. Like the deck can just have like a bit more of a top end really. Like I had to play Yen Sid in Seattle. That's how desperate I was for some breed, right? And the card
Do you
performed quite well,
think
but it just made it inconsistent, whereas now it just felt pretty clean.
have you been happy with Castle, or do you think you would have rather had it be a library, or
No,
neither?
definitely. So it's a very interesting question. In all the testing, like Jan and I did in Las Moyen in Seattle, library was in the deck, library was in the deck, and like library looks like it should be so good, right? Like you've got the Diablos, the Chernobyls, the Brooms, but it's so slow. Like you just this deck is all about like the early game tempo. You're playing like Befuddle or fire the cannons on turn 2 and another one drop. To then like on your turn 4, do you really want to be playing a library and moving something in? It's just too slow. Whereas Queen's Castle just really turns up the pressure. Like it that extra lore, I needed every single bit of lore basically in this last game, and that extra
Hmm.
lore it gets is really really important. The castle drew me a card as well. I think gave me like 4 lore. So I think Castle
Yeah, it
actually
was
probably won me this game 3.
Castle was really good for you in game 3 and
Yeah.
Hmm.
was terrible for you in was it game 1 or game
Yeah, it
2?
was, but it was a bad top deck at the time in game 1. I think
Oh,
like Castle would have been fine like a turn sooner. It just came at the wrong time.
I guess I'll ask, what was the decision to keep both those castles in your hand in game 3 instead
Yeah.
of inking one and then keeping one for later?
Um, I could have inked Goat, I think, at one point. There was a big decision where I could ink Goat or keep Castle.
Hmm.
Um, but I just know like I can always ink the Castle later, and I know that there's definitely a world I end up going double Castle. I think it ended up getting discarded anyway.
Hmm.
Um, but it felt like there's definitely games where like if I can go double castle. I mean, if you
Hmm.
go back to like set 3 Emerald Steel, like Queen's Castle was always the biggest nightmare for the deck. And
Yeah.
while it's got like some more things to deal with it, it's still just still can just give you a good opportunity.
And then I know chat was talking about this a lot, and like there being only 4 bounce cards and Mim and just the Fox. Was there any
Mhm.
thought to play Snake in this, or is that just
Nah,
not?
Snake was in the Seattle list, but it got cut very, very quickly with all the new cards that this deck got.
Okay.
Like there's a Genie,
too slow.
Calhoun.
Hmm.
What else did I have that's new? There's so much. Like the deck got so
Yeah,
much juice. It's insane. The one
Rose.
cost
Diablo.
Diablo. So the White Rose. The one cost Diablo is just so perfect for this deck because you just want to go super wide as quickly as possible. Go double one drop turn 2 and just allows you to make very aggressive mulligans. Like
Hmm.
very rare. I keep. You saw me mulliganing 7 in game 3. and I mulliganed away like 3 1-drops or something stupid because like
Mhm.
statistically I'm just going to draw into more and it gives me the best chance of finding the fire cannons that I was looking for.
So
Like everything
three
the deck got
docks.
basically fits perfect. Yeah, I want to play 4. This is the 3 docks is a symptom of this being like Yan being busy and him submitting the deck, and us kind of having some discussions over the last like 4 or 5 cards. It should be 4 docks, for sure. I'm
So
pretty
we're at
adamant on it.
17
It should be 4
unequables
docks.
right now. Yeah. What would you for the viewers at home who might want to jam this in League because it looks
Yeah.
fun? I'm all about it. I'm probably going to play it in League or something close. What would you cut for that 4th dock?
Probably the Calhoun because of unthinkable count, but also I think the Pete could go. You could also anything you want really. It's tricky to fit everything. The Pete obviously did perform very very well for me. I have
Oh
to
yeah,
say I didn't want to play it. That was Moyen.
he did some
He
carry.
wanted more of. So Moyen basically wanted more Pete's initially. I mean, we had a lot of back and forth discussion. The Crabs also performed very well. That was like another card which I would never have played
Yeah.
unless it was Moyen's input.
Yeah, I feel I tried Crab a few times through the season and was not very happy, but I'm willing to try it again just because of Diablo, and it also kind
Yeah.
of plays well with Calhoun.
Yeah, it put in work for me to be fair with the cleaning of that Hidden Cove game 3. I think that
Oh,
was
yeah.
kind of a key moment
Yeah.
actually. Calhoun taking out Ursula, and then Crab. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
to fit everything, but I would definitely always play 4 docks. I don't want to play 3 docks. I actually messaged Pavel about 30 minutes after the deck had been submitted, and I was like, "Mate, can we change the list?" And he was like, "It's too late."
He's like, "Let me, please, let me put this 4th dock in."
Yeah.
Big dock fans.
But the dock also does. I mean, the logic of cutting it is now that Genie's in the deck, it can be a bit awkward to have 4 docks and 4 Genies, but I think it's more than fine, and you just play 4. The other thing to note with this deck is Befuddle. I actually think Befuddle would ideally be a 3 count, but we're at 2. You can Befuddle your own dock and replay dock,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is pretty cute.
Yeah.
Often
Oh,
Befuddle's
yeah.
like a really dead top deck, but here it can
Unless
be
you have a
pretty
dock in play.
Yeah. And yeah, Snake, to kind of go back to that, like, was one of the weaker cards in the deck. It made the cut because just bouncing Dock and bouncing Goat is nice in Seattle, but it's just like, whatever. It was a
Yeah.
pretty easy cut. Like, the other cards I cut were like Yensid, the 2-cost Broom, Benja, Snake, and everything that got added is just pure juice, really. I think this deck's just very, very
So
strong.
you've been happy with the Gantu and testing then? Like
Oh,
he's the biz.
I mean,
like
I haven't really tested that much, but look at the guy. He's just, how could he be bad? He's a captain. He's a captain, by the way.
he
He's
is a captain too.
Swing.
Yeah, synergies, lots of lore
Just
pips.
Yeah, it's just nothing. Like, what more do you want from a card? Who needs an ability when you have stats like that?
Let's
When-
make Smash good again.
I guess one of the big things with any Amethyst deck right now is the debate between Genie and Rabbit. Was there any thought of like maybe including 1 Rabbit or something, or is
Nah.
it just 4
Just-
Genie now?
Yeah, Rabbit's just slow. I didn't play Rabbit in this deck in set 5 either. Like, there was
Oh.
no Rabbit.
Yeah.
Genie, it's just too slow.
It's
And, like,
Docker
Rabbit with Dock is-
basically.
Yeah, Doc Rabbit is very awkward, right? Whereas
Mhm.
Genie Doc feels pretty clean. Interesting, the Elsa I don't particularly want in there, but it's obviously good in this matchup.
Did
but
great. Did great.
It's also
today.
very, very good in the Amethyst mirrors, right? Because
Mhm.
at the moment, like, imagine one Amethyst player goes Genie on 4, you go Genie on 4, and then your opponent Elsa's your Genie. You're kind of doomed, right? So I think Genie Elsa are pretty crucial for Amethyst
Mhm.
decks to win mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah, deck's good. And
Well,
I think, to
yeah.
be fair, I want to give a big shout out to Moyen for letting me play something I'm comfortable with. Because I said to him, you can submit what you want. Like, I'll just pick up the deck and try and learn it. But I think it was a good call for him to let me play something I'm comfortable in, because I was playing against a player who I think is a lot better than me. But I was just about able to edge it. And a lot of the cards which really popped off were like these last kind of 5. I was pretty adamant on like 55, 56 cards, and he kind of listened to me on that. Like, I really wanted to play 4 Gantus when he wasn't sure necessarily 4 was correct. But then a lot of the things that he put in, like the Calhoun, the Crab, the Pete, I think really overperformed in those games. Yeah.
Well, that's some great
And obviously-
insight. Thank you.
Obviously,
Oh,
I'm
go for it.
wanting Moyen to win the whole thing now. So
Of course.
if he wants me to sub in for the semi-finals and final, I'll also accept.
Well, great performance,
Yeah.
guys. We can't wait to watch more. Do either of you want to each shout
Oh,
something out, a
I've-
channel?
Can I have
mean,
one more point about the game? This game 3, the Elsa, I think a big moment was when I would go Elsa. I think I was supposed to take the Ursula out, to be honest. I left the Ursula and it sang like 3 times.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I did like you taking out the Ursula in game 2, though. We talked about that, and like
Yeah.
before you did it, I was like, I think he has to do it because the only ways I can think of Dale coming back and winning this game involve Ursula double singing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I thought about I slowed the game down for, and took my time on that one and just kind of played out each scenario if I do and don't, and figured it's probably just better to go for it.
And I mean, Dale, you even mentioned when we were talking about how like you just wanted to you wanted to stabilize an Ursula, and having it be taken out kind of out of nowhere like that, I think really threw like pushed you out of game 2 in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew it was gonna happen. It was just one of those things.
I also
When
kept my hand game too, right? And he mulligan 7.
Yeah.
You don't have the Diablo, you don't have the Diablo.
Yep. I wasn't even looking for Diablo. I was looking for Diablo 1. I wasn't looking for Diablo 3.
Just anything to play.
I just needed one and 2 drops. That's all I was looking for. I wasn't even looking for shift.
So did you
But
have
yeah,
a Diablo 3 that you mulled away in that hand?
No, I only saw Diablo 3 game 3. Well, whichever games I dropped them, I only saw them once in game 2 and once in game 3, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, good game, Specie.
Yeah, good game, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, they should
Definitely
leave you
aim to
in.
play you again
They
in
should leave
future.
you in, and they should leave you in until you lose.
Yeah, I have to talk to
Yeah.
the captain. I think he might have other thoughts on that.
Yeah. No, I want you. You got to keep adding names.
Let's go.
Okay. Anyways,
All right.
good night. I know Spessie's way beyond midnight, and I gotta have dinner.
I appreciate you guys doing the cast.
Right.
I'm also doing two games tomorrow on my channel. I'm doing
Ooh.
Dinkan Pham versus Zach Bivens, followed by Zan Syed Artabax. So it's going to be a
There you
really
go.
fun
Back to
night tomorrow.
back. Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Back.
That'll
Cannot
be
wait to
fun.
tune in. I'm sure everyone will be there as well. All right, you have a great night, and we'll chat with you later.
Thanks, guys.
Good
Take
job,
care.
guys.
Good night.
Great games.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
All right, chat, thanks for watching. I'm going to try to stay here for 15 more minutes and give you a raid at the end to give some of these 300 viewers. But anyways, thanks also to Teddy and everyone for watching. You have a great night, everyone. Bye. All right, so theoretically...